Alex here with a high conflict child custody video on underestimating abusers. I thought of this, sort of had an epiphany a few days ago on why I think people underestimate their abuser, and I think a lot of people, and it's not under all circumstances, most abusers people can cut off right away and just walk away from. The tough ones are typically the parent of their child or their mother or father, the people that you have this instinct that you can't separate from, or that you can't cut all contact off from. And I think the natural response to that inability to to cut them off, to terminate contact, is to justify it to yourself, thinking, "Hey, I can handle him. I can figure out how to deal with that. I'm stronger than I used to be." All this other stuff, and what I think, and this isn't based on any research, it's just sort of a thought that I had. What I think is behind why people underestimate their abuser and end up getting traumatized again and again, despite the fact that they sort of mentally prepare themselves, or I don't know, convince themselves that they're strong enough now, or they can, I don't know, keep him at a distant or an arm's reach or whatever. I think that it's because the way that they damage us is not so much in our decision-making area of our brain or thought process, but it's more like underneath that. It's like a layer down in the sort of instinct or subconscious area, and it's disappointing, because I do think that to get a victim to the point where you can traumatize them without them even really having a say in it, like to get deep down into their subconscious like that, you have to put them through the training program. I know I've used that phrase before in some of my videos, typically in the parental alienation videos, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a parent-child thing. It can be any kind of a relationship where you're exposed to trauma for a long period of time, to the point where you're traumatized, like methodically almost. Anyway, it takes a long time for people to get broken down like that, and I think we underestimate our ability. I'm not even going to say to heal from it. I'm not even sure somebody can. I have a thought that the only hope somebody might have to healing trauma that goes underneath their consciousness, that's tied into their instincts and all that, the best hope for that actually occurring would be for the abuser to figure it out on their own, and on their own start to heal it. I'm not sure what kind of control a victim can have once it's embedded that far into your subconscious. So it makes it more understandable to me now why there are so many websites and channels out there that say cut them off, terminate all contact. Before it was just, I don't know, I guess it seemed like the guaranteed way to solve the problem. Hey, you have an abuser, there's all kinds of things you can do, but the one way that guarantees victory or success is to cut them off. Well, now I've changed my mind, and I don't think it's just a guarantee. I've started to think that it's the only way, and it's really sad, because a lot of people here are in high conflict child custody cases with that type of person, and you can't just cut them off. And so I guess all I can do is tell you what I did. And here's what I did. I used Gray Rock and used the court system as much as possible, and it still got to me. I can't even act like I somehow figured out how to beat it. I minimized my exchanges, I minimized my contact, I used the court system as much as possible, but even then, having done all of those things, towards the end of the high conflict child custody dispute, there were still some appointments we had together, and I tried to think to myself that I was different and I was stronger, and it's like, I can remember two appointments that I went to with her, and it still got me. And it's so frustrating to look at that, because at the time that it's happening, it's almost like you're in a brain fog and you don't even know what's going on. Now here I am, years later, looking back at what was going on, and I'm like, not only did I not I don't know, beat, I guess you could say, the abuse, it's like there was no right way to really do it. You can minimize it as best you can, but the real solution to the problem is to terminate contact if you can, and if the law won't let you, then to minimize contact as much as you possibly can. I guess another thing that you can do is stop being hard on yourself. Because what do you do when the trauma has embedded itself into your subconscious, into your animal instincts? How can you decision your way out of that? How can you make the right choices? How can you mentally prepare? You can't. It's like I said earlier, it's like they trained you. How do you untrain yourself? How do you unprogram yourself? I imagine that maybe some therapy can help, but I highly doubt a therapist out there can work with you and suddenly make you completely and totally capable to confront your ex. Honestly, the only way I had any hope of doing it was to use the long arm of the law. That was my only hope, and it worked. It took the judiciary, it took the government, it took her being thrown in a cell. It took her being sentenced to a day in jail for contempt. I guess that's close enough. I don't know. Anyway, it took force. In fact, if you haven't seen my video, Force, take a look at that video. I hope that this is a video that's useful to my viewers. This is one of those videos where I don't really have a direct solution to the problem, but I do have some things that you can do, or maybe even just sort of understand yourself so you just don't beat yourself up and you don't think, oh, I'm weak or pathetic. It's like, guys, they've gone so far into your head that you just can't get them out now unless you terminate contact, which is what I was able to do with the termination of parental rights. I think a lot of people here won't be able to do it till their child's 18. And I don't know, maybe this is useful to you in other areas of your life. Maybe you have the same type of relationship with a sibling or a parent or a step-parent or something like that. And at least you don't have to go to court with them and you can terminate contact with them. I don't know. I hope that this video is useful. That's all I'm saying. I don't like to do videos that just reflect on the problem, but sometimes that's the best we can do, and sometimes it's very helpful. So if you have any questions, feel free to post them down in the comments below, and I will see you guys next time.